Hello guys, thank you very much for joining in. Today we're going to be having one more session where I'm getting one of my students to talk about his journey of clearing the FRM exam. And today we have with us Tushar Pujari. He has cleared FRM level 2 recently in the month of January. And let us talk about his preparation, his journey of clearing and becoming an FRM now. Okay. So first of all, Tushar, thank you very much for joining in. And for the benefit of the audience, can you give us a brief background about yourself? Okay, in the sense where are you working, what's the company's profile and all, what were you doing over there and before going for FRM level 2, and also when did you clear FRM level 1?
Sure. So basically, I'm Tushar Pujari. So I'm working at a wealth and asset management company in the treasury department in the mid office role. So I've cleared my FRM part two in Jan basically, and I'm further pursuing my other studies. I'm looking forward to pursue my CF as well. So that's just a brief about myself.
Thank you, Tushar. So before we start with the discussion for level 2, just for the
Yeah,
benefit of the audience, that you, if I'm not wrong, you cleared level 1 in May 2019. Then you had
right.
taken a break, you were studying on your own, and then you joined us basically, and for the FRM level 2, which you were supposed to go for May 2020, but because of the COVID and all, you went in January 2021, right?
Right.
Now, when you started your preparation for level 2, okay, what was the mindset? I mean, in the sense, did you pick up any book and you realized, okay, this book is easy for me, this book is difficult for me, based on your work profile or your previous experience? Anything? Was there anything that was there in your mind?
So initially, when I took your one of the demo lectures, so I found it good. So then I tried to call you, and you just give us a just how is the procedure you will be following with us.
Hmm.
So basically, you told us that you will be giving us a schedule, a
Right.
planned schedule, and which we need to follow, and you
Hmm.
will be tracking it on you will monitor on a continuous basis.
Right.
So I found that very intriguing, and so that is the main reason I joined Intelligent. So
Okay.
when the preparation started, so it was a weekend batch as such. So on a weekly basis, used to monitor the progress as such.
Hmm.
Apart from that, basically one of the subject is liquidity management.
Right.
So since I'm in treasury, that was very easy for me.
Okay.
But apart from that, it's like normal for any other person. It was same difficulty level to me.
Okay, great. And so basically one forte was liquidity, but other things was fairly new
Yes,
to you. Now,
yes. And one of the thing was credit.
Mhm.
Even credit was something I was. I looked some part of the credit risk also. So that was kind of easy for me. But other market risk, then investment risk, so that were just normal.
Okay. And so when you started your preparation, okay, basically, did you realize that, okay, you need to have some background of level 1 also, because there are connected part from your level 1? What was your thought on that part? Whether there is any connecting part that you
Definitely,
saw?
yes, definitely. You need to have. You can't say that proper background level, but you need to have your concepts clear.
Hmm.
See, in any competitive level exams, there are two things. One is your conceptual clarity, and one is your practice.
Right.
These two things, if you do it well, you are going to clear the exam.
Okay, perfect. And when you were preparing for level 1, you were using Swagger as a base for reading?
Yeah, it was Treasure and some question banks.
Okay. And when you started your level 2 prep, okay, how exactly it happened? So you picked up Swagger, you started reading. What was that? Was there any particular order that you followed? For example, you picked up market risk, you picked up credit risk. What was that order that you felt that this is going to
So
help me?
definitely, yeah, definitely. As everyone, we start with Treasure only, and along with your notes side by side. But
Hmm.
main book was Treasure in the initial 3 to 4 months. But
Hmm.
uh, in the order, if you're talking about the order, it would be for me it was investment management since it was the what to say continuing part to the FRM part one,
Right.
and then the market risk, then last was the operation risk, then credit risk, and the liquidity risk. So this was the order: investment risk, market risk, then liquidity risk, credit risk, and last operation risk.
Okay. Okay. And if you can give us an idea, how many times before you went for the exam, you were able to go through the entire Schweitzer book, or basically the content for all the 6 books, or were you focusing on few books more, something like that? I mean, how many times of reading that happened before going for the exam?
Uh, Frankly speaking, for the Schweitzer book, around proper one reading,
Mm-hmm.
and for some books, two readings like the credit risk or investment banking, investment risk book, the two readings. But my primary focus before exam was just your notes, only your notes. And if I have I need some conceptuality and detailed conceptuality, so I used to refer your book or some other sources on the web. Or so that was my strategy.
Okay. Okay.
But my major what do you say source of preparation was your notes and your question bank.
Okay, great. Thank you. But in terms of reading, so you said only one reading that you were able to do properly, plus some one or two reading of your credit risk or the market risk book, right? That is what. Okay.
Right.
Now, let us talk about individual book. Okay. If you can give us some detail, for example, credit risk. Okay. Like you said, you had some reference from your job, but when you read the
Yes.
content, when you went to the question solving, did you find, what was your thought process in that? What did you find it difficult? Did you find it very easy? How did you tackle that book? That is what I wanted to understand.
See, if you compare the credit risk book, out of 100%, around
Mhm.
20% was hard. Or to say the rating methodologies book.
Right.
To the chapters, even which you had told that just give it a try, but don't get stuck on it.
Hmm.
So, around 50% is very easy. It's basically theoretical and kind of common sense. If you've done some kind of credit analysis, you will be able to crack it. And 30% uh, is moderate, and 20% is hard. So when
Right.
I used to solve the questions, I would focus on that 80% primarily, and 20% during the what do you say? Initially, I tried to prepare that, but during the last 15 days, I couldn't remember. So I tried to solve the questions as much as possible. But if I'm getting stuck, somewhere, I wouldn't waste my time on that.
Okay.
I'll just carry forward with my preparation on the next questions or the next chapters as such, because
Okay.
that for one question, it doesn't make sense to waste your time.
Agreed. Agreed. And especially, so basically taking your point ahead. So if you look at the entire credit risk book, there are like 3, 4 chapters like rating assignment, you have portfolio
Yes,
credit risk, spread risk. So obviously there are some important part into it, but the major content is very, very modeling driven. So that is what I also
yes,
like. I've told you before also that do not worry about those 3, 4 chapters, but make sure that all the other chapters are thorough and perfect.
yes,
And
right.
because it remains it, you have to be mentally sure that okay, I'm clear on the rest of the chapters, and then you can go towards those difficult chapters if you have
Yes,
time.
yes. Those 80% of the book, you have to be very clear with your concepts.
Okay. Now, like you said before, 15 days before that exam, you were not able to remember those 3, 4 chapters which you felt difficult. Now, did that
Yes.
impact your exam in any way, your morale or
No,
anything in that exam day?
no, it doesn't make sense because if you compare the portion, there are 100 readings basically,
Hmm,
and there are only 80 questions in exams.
that's correct.
So if you if there are some chapters, so out of 100 readings, I couldn't prepare well for around 5 to 6 readings.
Hmm,
So that doesn't hamper my preparation basically. So the out of around 95% of the readings have my conceptual clarity. So it
okay.
doesn't hamper my confidence.
But you did not found any specific question coming from those 5, 6 chapters,
I
and
did
you
found
thought, huh,
those credit modeling. I think there were 1 2 questions, but I had some idea because I was not completely blank.
okay,
Since actually the question set which you provide now, so that's of higher level, and
right.
it is not necessary that in exams the same level of questions which might come.
Hmm,
So as per your question book, you are setting a standard which is very high, but that is the ultimate standard basically. If the exams question are above the standard, then that's a bad luck. But uh, unless it's a case study based question in the exams, you will be
hmm.
able to crack it.
Okay, okay. See, obviously, nobody can predict the exam pattern or exam
Yes,
question. But
yes,
see, primarily, what you're trying to say is that okay, you saw 1 or 2 questions coming from those chapters which you were not
yes,
very confident, but you were able to guess or you were able to come closer to the right answer anyhow, like that,
right.
right? And let us go to the other books, Market Risk. Now, in that Market Risk, what was your strategy in terms of managing the content, or reading the content, or understanding the things?
So for the market risk book, it was majority practice.
Okay.
So my major focus was only practicing our question banks. So it went well with that.
Right. Okay. So you did not found anything difficult as such in that book, as in terms of content?
Market risk, and those formulas for a chapter in that only, no?
No, that is
model
an
and all.
investment management. That is
Sorry,
investment management.
no. So market was no issue.
I think so. You are referring to that component var.
Yes, a term sheet wala.
That is in Market Risk. That is in Market Risk. There are 4 chapters related to it. So the last 2
So
chapters,
one of the
I think.
chapter, yeah, the last 2 chapter I had to skip it because lack of time. So
Okay.
that
Okay.
actually there are 3 to 4 questions in exams which I could answer.
From those 2 chapters
Yes,
primarily.
and I wouldn't recommend anyone to skip those chapters.
Okay. Okay. Yes.
Really, because actually I don't know how, but I skipped those chapters because due to lack of time. But if you're solving those 80 to 100 questions, you will definitely be able to crack it because those are formula driven, and it's
Acha,
actually yes, those are very formula driven, and definitely 1 or 2 questions are expected in the exams from those
Right.
chapters.
So basically, if you would have seen that formula, if you would have remembered, you would have been able to solve that.
I'd seen those formulas, but during the last 15 days, I couldn't practice those questions.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Got it. Cool. So now let us come to investment management book. Now within that entire book, there are, I think so, one chapter which is related to some calculation component var, right? Var basic different parts of var. Apart from that, mostly it is theory. So what has been your was there any pain point in that book, or any strength that you realized in that book?
No, for investment risk book, it was a continuity of FRM part 1 majority. So it was very can say moderately easy for me, but as you can say, my more focus was on. So I'll just tell you my preparation. I used to read the book. And then target us if I have 1 hour of set time. I'll target that. I need to solve those 30 questions in that, and I will complete that. So that was my process.
Okay.
Read the content, then solve the questions. If I'm getting stuck in any question, skip it. Try for 5 to 10 minutes max. Then others skip it. Then go back again to those questions and read the concept again and get your concept cleared.
Okay. Got it. Now coming to the theoretical books like the liquidity risk, or for example, operational risk, majority of the content is theory. So how did you dealt with that? Was there a requirement for you to read a lot? Was there a requirement? What was your experience? Did you realize that one reading is enough for that content, or you had to read more? So what has been your challenge, or what has been your experience for those 3 books?
So specifically for operational risk, it's very vast. First of all, it's very vast. So you need at least 3 to 4 readings for that. I could manage only 2 readings, so I had some difficulties in exams. So I would recommend anyone to have at least 3 to 4 readings and prepare some basic notes for yourself for last day preparation or the last 15 days preparation. Otherwise, you won't be able to remember the content in the last 15 days. How many readings you have, but you need to have some notes. Otherwise, it's very difficult. For liquidity risk perspective, it was very easy for me because I've been working in treasury since last 3 years. So it was very basically, you can say that out of 100% portion of the liquid risk, around 70% is what I do on a daily or on a weekly or monthly basis.
Okay. So it was not a challenge as such. Yeah.
Not a challenge.
In terms of current issues book, a lot of people, they actually ignore that book and they do it at the very end. So what has been your experience with that book?
Actually, I found the current issues books very interesting. So if you take any chapter, I would not only read those content, but I would research on that. I'll go on Google. I'll do more research I'll watch and some other videos as well. So I found those chapters very interesting. Other than that 1-2 chapters which are very theoretical, But other than those chapters, it is very practical, and those are new emerging technologies, and there obviously there is. But I found it very interesting. So I had done some multiple readings for that,
Okay.
apart from following questions.
Okay. Okay. And in terms of before you went for the exam now, okay, so like you said, okay, let's come to the last 2 weeks of your preparation for the exam. Did you had the opportunity
Yeah.
to get holiday during that time frame, the last 2 weeks?
So actually, exams were on 16th, so I got holiday from 3rd, and between those period also I had to work for 2 days.
Okay.
It
Okay.
was very difficult, but I had to manage my time. So uh, it was the main what to say, those 15 days it was like hook or crook. If I don't do preparation, I will fail. Otherwise, if I do my preparation well, I will pass. So I
Right.
used to study almost 12 to 14 hours on a daily basis,
Okay.
minimum, because I was sure, I knew that I hadn't done my preparation well before that, so I had to put the efforts to clear the exams.
So basically, the last 2 weeks, you tried to pick up if anything that was missing, or you did a lot of revision in that two
I did
weeks.
a lot of practice. In the last 15
Acha.
days, I solved almost 3,000 questions.
Again, that means you did the entire questions again,
Yes, yes.
primarily.
Along with reading your notes. I
Okay.
didn't touch the treasure in the last 15 days. I did only your notes and your question bank.
Okay. Got it.
And then
Got it.
only in the last 2 days, uh, I took the summary notes of the Shweza on the last two
Mm-hmm.
pages. So only in the last day I did that. Otherwise, I didn't refer Shweza in the last 15 days.
Okay. Got it. Got it. Now, in the exam time, okay, you went for the exam. There were 4 hours time, 80 question. What happened over there?
So you see, there are 80 questions in the exam. So I started it from the beginning.
Okay.
So initially, my target was that every hour I need to do 20 questions.
Hmm.
So I was very lethargic in my doing my prepare questions as such. So in 2 hours, I did around 40 questions. And suddenly, after 40 questions to around 60 questions, there were case studies. So, and those
Oh.
are one-page case studies. And you know that those are a mixture of 2 to 3 concepts and
Mhm.
2 to 3 books. So it takes a lot of time. So in the next 1 hour, I could manage only around 12 questions. So in the
Oh.
last 1 hour, I had to solve around 28 questions, and that was difficult. But I could manage that. I could manage almost 76 questions out of those 4 questions. Two I didn't knew, and two no, the last 4 questions I around three I didn't know, and one I did random tick.
So
So
three
out of
that
80
you
questions,
did.
I was
Okay.
yeah. So out of 80 questions, I could properly solve 75 questions at least. I was sure about that. That
Okay.
I had good chances of clearing those 75 questions. But around 4 to 5 questions, it was just random tick.
And the major content was theory, right? I know, but I'm just reiterating
Yes,
for the audience.
yes. Around 15 to 20 questions were practical questions.
Hmm.
Around 60 questions were 60 to 65 questions were theoretical.
And those practical questions, that means calculation questions, was it straightforward formula driven, or was it very difficult?
Majority. No, no, around 70 or around 70 around out of 20 questions, around 15 20 questions, around 10 were straightforward. Majority straightforward.
Hmm.
Around 4 to 5 questions were uh, you can say that out of uh, out of 4 answers, you could
Hmm.
match 2 answers. So it was
Okay.
very hard to
Choose the
what
final
to
one,
say,
basically. Yes.
choose the
And
final. Yes,
like you have already told about this, but I'm just reiterating this point. In level one, when you read the question, you know that okay, this is from book one. Did you find a similar thing happening over here in level two? Not only I'm not talking about those difficult questions that you skipped, but I'm talking about those 75 questions that you are solving. Were
yes.
those directly coming from one book? What or you found that okay, it's a combination of one or two chapters, but I know what is happening.
Say around out of 80 questions, around 20 questions are case studies. 15
Hmm.
20 questions are case studies, which are a mixture of concepts of various books and various concepts.
Okay.
So in those questions, cannot identify a particular concept or a particular book. So you need to have very good conceptual clarity for those specific case studies. Apart
Hmm.
from that, you can easily identify that it is from this book or that book.
Okay. Okay. So basically 60 chapters, 60 question, around 60, 55 to 60 question. You were able to go through the content properly. You were able to understand, okay, this is coming from operation, this is coming from.
Yes, 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 yes.
But there were a few questions which you could not, basically it was a
Yes,
mix. I mean,
just one point, one advice to everyone, that just go through the paper once before starting. You need to identify the case studies, where exactly are the case studies placed. So accordingly, you need to manage your time, because if the case studies are in the bit on the, like in my case, it's around those in the 40 to 60 range. So I couldn't manage my time well in prior.
okay.
So just go through the questions one, where the case study is placed, and accordingly set your time. Because for case studies, you won't be able to solve more than 15 questions in an hour.
Right. 15 questions, because the length is bigger.
Yes, length is bigger, and there are multiple concepts.
Yes. And okay, so during the entire part, did you felt panic? I think so. That was the time when you realized it is a case study, it is taking a lot of time. Were you panicking at that time? Okay, I might not be able to complete everything. What happened? Was there any low point during that solving of 80 questions?
Not panic as such, but I knew that I had to hurry. So it was difficult doing that case studies, 20 questions, 15, 20 questions. But post that, it was again in one page there were 2 questions, and that was kind of easy. So apart from that, I told you 4 to 5 questions. It was pretty good.
Okay. Now you completed the exam, you got the result, you cleared. Okay. Now after that, after clearing of the exam, what has been the scenario? Did you found, see, a lot of people, they get recognition in the sense of salary hike or higher remuneration. Some people get recognition as a part of their job. They get difficult assignments. So what has been your experience after FRM level 2?
So post I cleared my exams. The results are out in around 1 month. So I don't know how within next 2 days I updated my Naukri and LinkedIn and such. So I started getting calls from recruiters.
Okay.
So for just a reference purpose, I was searching for a job. So initially I used to get a 20 views per day in Naukri, which went to 50, on an average 50 views per day. And I was getting calls from very good financial institutions, very good financial institutions, top financial institutions, and that to a pretty good role. I can say that once you clear your exams, to get into a risk management role is very easy for you, especially into reporting, risk reporting or liquidity reporting. You will find a pretty many jobs, and recruiters will prefer you. I even got interview calls from the for the front end roles as well, treasury front end role, even IB roles. So it is very well recognized. Even in my own organization, there are around 3 to 4 FRMs, and those are at a very high level. So it's very well recognized. So so to say, during the interview preparation as well, when they used to ask that you're a FRM, one interesting point I need to make. So one of the top banks, you can say, I had a call for a credit risk analyst role.
Okay.
And the interviews were based in Singapore and Hong Kong. So they didn't recognize any other qualification which I had, but they did recognize FRM. So basically, my point is that it's very recognized globally. So you can get jobs in a global bank and MNCs.
Okay, adding to a point, like for the benefit of the audience, what Tushar is primarily trying to say is that when you go for a big investment bank as a candidate for an interview, it is obviously going to be people, the HR people or the manager, the local manager who's going to take the interview, but there are also going to be stakeholders who will take your interview. That means there'll be managers from like Singapore and Hong Kong that you said. And this has been my experience also, because when I moved to Morgan, I had interviews from the London office also. And they interviewed me, they approved me, then only I was able to onboard. And that is what I think. So you're trying to refer to the people. So
my point is since FRM is a global certification, so it's recognized globally, and it's a gold standard in risk management.
Right.
So
And also
it helps a lot.
And also for the benefit of the audience, you were doing operations primarily, even though it was treasury, but it was an operational role. It was not
Yes, yes,
it was not primarily into risk, or it was not, and getting a front end call itself is a good point, because generally people find it difficult to move to a front end role where you are actually going to be doing trading, or you're going to be supporting the trader. That's a very
yes,
good role, because it's high remuneration, high growth in terms of your career also. So
yes.
getting those call itself is very good.
I'll
And
just give you a reference of kind of roles I was getting calls for. So one of the kinds were liquid risk analyst role, risk reporting role, credit analyst role, or then treasury operation. Obviously, because since I had the experience for that,
mhm.
then treasury front end role as well. Apart from that, investment banking role as well. I got the offers. So you get a variety of opportunities once you clear FRM.
Okay. And within the organization also, did you get any recognition in the sense work,
Yes, yes.
or what
Yeah,
was
I
your
forgot to
experience?
tell you. So there, there was an internal opportunity job posting. So for into a front end role, basically into an IB role,
Mhm.
or in the portfolio management team. So I applied for that, and uh, they selected me based on my FRM basically. So I will be moving into the as a fixed income analyst in the next 1 month. So definitely because of FRM, I could do move into a front end role or a proper core IB role basically. So
Okay.
otherwise, if I hadn't cleared my FRM, I wouldn't have got this role.
See, primarily, what the benefit for the benefit of the audience, what primarily Tushar is trying to say is that people perceive you differently when they know you have
Yes,
cleared a difficult exam, when you have proved yourself.
it
The
adds credibility to your profile basically.
Yes, definitely, it adds credibility, and I have also seen that because I got an opportunity to network with people only because I was an FRM, and people knew
Right, right.
that when we talk to him, he will understand stuff. He's not a normal graduate, a normal MBA. That makes a big difference. So
Yes,
it's because ultimately the corporate is all about perception, how
yes,
you perceive, how people perceive you, right?
definitely. Yes,
Perfect. So Tushar, thank you very much for joining in, because the entire discussion that we had with respect to your preparation for the exam, and also with respect to the job opportunities that you got, or your experience after clearing the exam, I think so this is going to help a lot of students to go ahead and go for the FRM exam, because right now also I get a lot of queries asking that, okay, whether there will be any other job opportunities for FRM. I don't get similar queries for CFA because of the branding that they do, but FRM has
yes.
been slightly not been as branded, but the post COVID, I see that the demand for the risk management has definitely grown.
And one
So,
thing is definitely I
hmm,
just want to make a point. I deal with a lot of senior management people. So one thing is that FRM is considered as a gold standard for risk management uh, in India as well globally. So once you
okay.
clear a FRM, it will definitely add credibility to your profile as well as give you more opportunities internally in your organization as well as outside.
Hmm. Right. Perfect. Great. So thank you very much, Tushar. Thank you very much for joining in. Your
Thank
discussion, your
you,
journey is definitely going to be very helpful for people who are a part of the FRM course now, or are preparing for the FRM. We'll look forward
yes,
to connect with you again in some other session where you might share some of your insights of finding the job, what has been your journey in that segment also, right?
right,
So thank you
right.
very much, Tushar. Thank you for joining in.
Thank you so much.